we are going to be watching this amazing video from none other than MaximilianDood talking about the future of Street Fighter. The Christmas decorations are still on. Uh-oh. Hold on, we've ruined everything. Editor, please. Editor. Oh, God. Oh, God. Please fix. All right, yeah, I want to watch this MaximilianDood video talking about the future of Street Fighter 6 because I have takes and I want to hear what his takes are and see if they compare against my takes. And also I want to do battle against his takes, my takes versus his takes on the fields of glory, the beaches of Normandy storming, bullets whizzing by. You're like ducking down, bombs are going off. Oh, God, that's your friend Kevin. He just lost a fucking leg. That's FGC discourse.
Yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it. I think we're at a point where we can actually start discussing what the hell's going down for the future, which is the present, which is the future of fighting games. We had our big prediction of like, where the hell does Capcom go with their fighting game series now, whether or not.
All right, so my prediction is this. Real quick, I want to throw it out there. I don't think we're getting a new version. Everyone keeps saying we're getting a new version, but I think this game is so intricately designed that a new mechanic would require redesigning everything. And that's kind of why I feel like we're not going to get a new version. Capcom hasn't at all been like, don't worry, guys, we're getting one. And if they were doing one, it would have been the year 1 and 2 edition. They already did it. Like, that's technically the new version of the game. It's just the game hasn't, but that's our Super Street Fighter 6. I mean, maybe towards the end, like in 2-3 more seasons, we get like something new, but it's hard to think about like what would they add, right? I think more likely we would get some sort of balance changes to the drive system, but I think the game we have is the game that we're playing system mechanics wise, and they are going to do minor character changes. Also, anything they have planned is going to have to come like would probably start if the discourse is getting bad enough that the Japanese players are getting mad now. In like a year and a half is when we'll probably start seeing it because they have their content planned out already, out to like a certain date. So anything new or changes, unless the sales start plummeting, which they're not going to. The game is selling like crazy in Japan. And the people who are mad about the game are you and I. New players love this shit. And even then I like the game a lot. I really like the way it is. I like playing it. I also play a top tier. So like I'm kind of in a weird spot. I love my nerfs, but it's not crazy. So yeah, my prediction is that we're getting like the game is going to continue on the path that it is. We'll get balance patches. We might get like a crazy big balance patch, a real shake up. I think we get like 2 of those across the game's whole entire lifespan. I don't think we get anything super duper crazy. But yeah, I think this is the game we're playing.
CVS, you know, MVC, whatnot. We have something that's a lot more tangible. Street Fighter's in an interesting spot right now, especially with the community, especially as a game. The last time we talked about it, I don't feel like my thoughts have necessarily changed, even though I haven't put any time into the game since then. But I could start understanding where people are coming from because even I wanted this quote unquote, we talked about it before summer of last year. I wanted this shakeup in the beginning of season 3. I thought the game was going to be shaken up in some way. So everybody knows it didn't. We are still largely playing like 95% the same game we have been playing since 2022. And for anybody that doesn't understand what the hell that means, dude, that was the beta. Like even the game in the beta didn't change that much from core mechanics and the way the game's overall game plan operates. That didn't change that much from the beta to the actual launch of the game. And from the launch of the game through several.
Now, chat, listen, I know people don't like the current state of the game, but if Capcom has been sticking to the same plan for 3 seasons, what makes you think they're going to drastically deviate when the number still goes up? And unfortunately, you and I are probably not going to make the number not go up. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen the chart. I think Sejam made a video about it before, about like the types of players, mobile game players, and how things in games are priced to account for the fact that you and I may not buy it. They already priced us out. They already calculated us not buying it into the price. And so it doesn't matter. The DLC passes are still going to sell. People will still buy characters because this is a game that you play competitively. You have to get the character, right? Like, exactly. This is the game that we have. Characters are going to change, but the system, the core game is going to stay the same. I think meta shakeups would be pretty interesting. And I imagine by the end of the game's lifespan, just like in Street Fighter 5, we will have different characters in the top tier than we do right now. We are still in the first half of the game's lifespan.
Balance patches and several minor mechanical adjustments all the way until 2026. Dude, that's crazy that this game has been played for 4 years now. What's happened? Pretty much the community is kind of done with the way the game operates on like a mechanical level. I think most people will agree that a lot of the characters are fun in Street Fighter 6, but even the people that kind of like this game and are relegated to playing mostly this, they're like Street Fighter streamers, Street Fighter players. A lot of them are now like at a point where dealing with this rock, paper, scissors situation, because it is, most situations in the game on Oki and Knockdown are going to boil down to an RPS decision or like a checkmate moment, which has just been the case that we have evaluated from the game since 2022. But having to deal with those situations over and over again, regardless of characters being geared up, characters have more tools and things that they ever have, but the core systems are so powerful that you always have to deal with it. Tekken's going through somewhat of a similar situation. So it was my presumption that because we have played such a similar game for such a long period of time that, hey, I think season 3 is going to be the shakeup. It's going to be the Super Street Fighter 6, Super Street Fighter, like whatever. Something will add a layer of depth to those rock, paper, scissors kind of interactions.
I think we're waiting until season 5.
Situations. I don't know, something other than what is arguably the biggest change the game has gone through, which is the adjustment to perfect parry. Did that change the game that much? Not really. I mean, from a viewing perspective and from watching a lot of the people that have to play this game every single day, day in, day out, it was a small change, but did it really like, oh man, the game is just drastically different? It doesn't look that way. That being said, I think the community is kind of ready for a shakeup. I think the way people play this game and the operation of the game needs to be spiced up a little bit. And that's not going to happen by adding more special moves or adding more supers. It's going to actually be a mechanical difference or
I think here's the one thing I would like to see them do. And I think this is actually a change I heard at my local. I forgot who said it. If I remember their name, I would name them. But someone had said that they should, I think actually it was player Vash TS, said that they should, if there's a fireball on screen, you should not be able to drive rush behind it. And low key, I would love that change. I think that would be great. I play a character with a fireball drive rush. I know that would kind of mess up some characters. They'd have to get like here's a compensation buff. Like we'll give you something new because we got rid of your fireball drive rush. But I do think getting rid of fireball drive rush would actually make the game significantly better, personally. Because right now it feels like you just skip neutral. Like, or if you're playing neutral for too long, that you just decide, okay, I'm gonna skip neutral now, and I'm gonna go in, and I'm gonna get plus frames, and I'm gonna do nasty things to your body. And that is fun. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's a pain in the ass.
Big mechanical adjustment from previous versions of the game that won't change the identity of the game. That will never happen, chat. You're not getting a different game. All your tools and skills that you have learned from the first 3 years of Street Fighter 6 being a thing is going to apply, and you're going to be great at it. But you're going to have to think of some new things. That's how this has just operated on the Capcom front since the Street Fighter 4 era, where we actually got big updates to games, you know, in the same version. So Capcom's been talking, and they've been discussing a lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now, about the future of the game, where it's going, and sort of giving some, I don't know if it's hope, but it seems like they are slightly aware of the way the audience is interacting with the game. Its sales are good, the numbers are good. So what happens? And I'll give my predictions based on what they say. So Happy New Year. We broke 6 million units worldwide in cumulative sales. This year, in addition to Alex and Ingrid joining the fight, we will be delivering a packed lineup of hot events like Capcom Cup 12 and more, which is still pay-per-view.
Yeah, I just so y'all know I ain't watching that shit, and you probably shouldn't watch it either. I'm not watching Capcom Cup. I'll watch it if I want to watch it. I'll watch it after the fact. I'm not paying $40 US to watch an ad-filled broadcast. They've yet to say whether it's going to be ad-free, and that means it's not. It's not going to be. They'd be like, "Yo, guys, we know you were mad, but like, it's an ad-free experience. You're not going to have to watch any ads at all. Isn't that so much better?" And then I'd be like, yeah, sick, actually. I'll pay for that. Less breaks, the more action. Right. If you are green, your hurt box should just quintuple whenever you're... Honestly, yes. If you're green and your opponent hits any button, you should get teleported into the corner with them in front of you in a 50-50 mix-up situation.
We look forward to your continued support. Yes, and yeah, I will say personally, of all the characters that were in season 3, I like Sagat the most. He was definitely really fun to play.
But like, also, if you fuck up drive rush, then neutral gets real weird, because there are some characters in this game that have plus frames for free, and then there are the characters that don't. And that's most of them don't have plus frames for free. Like, I feel like a lot of characters without drive rush just don't get plus frames, which means they don't get mix, which means they just can't open you up. Like they have a way harder time opening you up.
Looking forward to Alex. I want to see what the heck they do with this guy, if he's going to work with the systems of this game. But outside of that, the director and the producer, so shout outs to Dakota on Event Hubs for putting this article up and the translations. Matsumoto and Nakayama-san, who are the lead Capcom guys, have been discussing the game quite a bit, especially with Famitsu. So we should start dissecting what the hell they are talking about. They mentioned that Alex and Ingrid are on the way, as well as more collaborations for SF6. Well,
actually, you know what? Make it so it's easier to react to drive rush. That's it. Do that, and then also make it so that way inputting something during drive rush screen freeze doesn't consume your input. That'd be sick, actually. If every time I react to drive rush faster than I'm supposed to, I don't get cooked. That'd be hype. I'm just saying, that'd be sick. It'd be sick if my good reaction was rewarded and not punished.
While the series as a whole is approaching its 40th anniversary, which is kind of a big deal. I think it's going to be 40 years old in 2020.
Characters sound like S tier, S tier. If jump medium kick was angled downwards,
1987.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, that game is old AF, dude, and it plays like an old, really rough game. The year after this one is the 40th anniversary, and there will probably be some big substantial thing. Not this year. This year is going to be sort of following up. For Street Fighter 6's year 3, we still got Alex and Ingrid, the second half. This was translated by...
I'm so excited for Ingrid, though.
Thank you, dude. Along with a bunch of other updates, and we're not going to reduce the pace of our collaborations either. That's an interesting thing to say. And in 2027 is the 40th anniversary of Street Fighter. We're currently preparing many things for this occasion. Please look forward to them. This isn't interesting to mention. We're not going to reduce the pace of our collaborations. Now, what kind of collaborations are we talking about, dude? And I'll be honest, it feels like Street Fighter has collabed with so much stuff over the past like 2 years that it would make your head spin. From Call of Duty to Borgers to Ninja Turtle costumes to K-pop things to Nikkei. Like, I'm just throwing names out. The only one that actually felt substantial, I think, is pretty obvious. It was the SNK collab. Us actually getting characters from another game in a mainline Street Fighter game was the most significant event that has happened to Street Fighter in its totality in a very long time. That was a big deal. Like, Terry and Mai being legit in Street Fighter was like, damn, this is crazy. Outside of a CVS, this is crazy. I'll be honest, a lot of the other stuff is neat. Costumes are cool. Freakazoid things are cool. Sure. Is it for me? No.
Please.
McDonald's burgers, cool. To me, the most interesting thing in terms of collaborations
Costume
where you can
and
actually go with this is
color packs would be
sick. Actual characters crossing over with other shit. But the problem is that this season didn't lean into that. This season had a very clear sort of mantra to it. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4, and weirdo, this season's theme does not include guest characters at all. Any kind of guest characters. So at what point does that seem plausible? Should the next season be it? Is the next season full of a bunch of Third Strike characters? Is it a bunch of brand new characters? Like, we haven't seen any other brand new characters added to the roster since, I think, the initial reveal of the... Damn, is that true? No, Aki was brand new. I think that was the last one, right? With that being said, I don't know if this could mean one thing or the other, but it definitely feels like it just...
Color Maker would be a sick feature.
Lines up with the fact that Street Fighter stuff shows up in a whole bunch of shit, and a whole bunch of shit shows up in Street Fighter stuff. Depending on how this goes, I will say personally, I don't want some big random thing, man. Remember that crossover video that they did with the Zenless Zone Zero crew? I could see that being successful, but putting like a Zenless character into Street Fighter would probably be successful, but that is not what I would want, man. I definitely would prefer crossovers with like Dream crossovers with like other fighting games, other action games, even other Capcom games, if they lean into that, which they have done before. They did it in Street Fighter 5. More stuff that leans into either Power Stone, Darkstalkers, or Rival Schools. That's the kind of shit that gets me excited. There's a lot of stuff coming for the 40th anniversary. I don't know what the hell they're gonna... Dude. Third Strike. Thankfully, I feel fulfilled with many things to do and many things to think about, so thank you so much to all of our fans and our community and all our players. The game featured some unexpected crossovers last year. Yeah, we just talked about this. In 2026, year 3 characters, and there's also a new Street Fighter movie, which is probably going to have some sort of crossover thing. When it comes to the characters, we're putting our all into their development. Please look forward to some very dense BGMs for them. Interesting music references. I think there's a slow trickle of information coming out about the movie as well, but from the actors and directors and the producers, some of the great folks who truly understand the IP and the value you. So yeah.
Oh, dog, they're making a movie. We're so cooked. We're not getting a balance patch ever. Oh, dude, they might nerf Mai, but like they're not gonna break anything because the movie's coming out, chat. Yeah, no, this is our Street Fighter game.
Not surprised that they're heavily involved. And that's about it. I can understand why a lot of people are at a point where you hear some things and the awareness of what's going on, but there's also an interesting thing that popped up over the past like day or so. Capcom is hiring for the Street Fighter 6 team, and this is not a remote kind of remedial position.
This was big.
Dude, they're hiring for a battle planner, conceptualization of the systems within the game,
Moshige
character planning, character balancing, modes, everything. Like this is like gameplay design, which is nuts. Here's an interesting observation, chat. My observation is behind the scenes for another fighting game went through a very similar shakeup in this sort of like job. The direct planner, the people that were sort of focusing on balance and updates and future character planning and systems and shit like that. There was another game where we didn't know that was happening. And then it happened, and it sort of rendered the game asunder. And that was Tekken 8. Tekken 8, new people were put in charge of like battle planning type of stuff. And then by the time that all eventually hit the audience, it did not go particularly well. And they had to revert back for Tekken 8 Season 2. So yeah, like this is an interesting position to be filling right now within the Street Fighter team. Even though Capcom's hiring for maybe this position or others, and they're literally mega hiring, as I understand it. Capcom is mega hiring in Japan. Street Fighter could also be a result of that. But at what point do you start seeing things catch up with it? At what point do you see like more costumes or more this or more yada, 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 more updates, that kind of thing? You don't see that until probably the 40th anniversary, probably until some point 2027. Their work will not be echoed in the game for at least another year at least. But it does lead me to like one more observation. Now that we're here, closing in on the end of the third year of Street Fighter. What's your last observation? What do you have? I have been taught something that changed over the past 4 to 5 years, like post-pandemic, and that is the way audiences engage with games. It's no lack of information. There's no lack of information that the way most people engage with Street Fighter 6 as a game is through online play. And that's because their online is genuinely good. Their systems are great, you know, that actually make people connect with each other online. Fun. But like the vast majority of people that have ever played Street Fighter 6 are pretty much playing it in an online environment from the comfort of their own home, and like live sort of programming, live tournament programming, and at-home co-op is not really the way that we engage with this game, much less the majority of fighting games anymore. You have to like go out of your way to search that stuff out. That being said, I think that's in direct relation to what's happening with Street Fighter 6 right now and some other games. You have to release updates. For games that are directly online focused, where people are playing it from the comfort of their own home, the only way you can get them to come back and play the game, to engage with it again, is either to release new...
Actually, you know what, chat? Let's just see real quick. What are the SF6? Let's just look at the Street Fighter 6 Steam charts, chat. Insane. Insane. 33,000. I mean, that's not... I think that's big for a fighting game. Like, that's big for a fighting game, especially this many years.
Content or, you know, games as a service give you reasons to come back every 3 to 4 months or something like that to see what happened to your character, what happened to these characters, to get an idea, an inkling of, oh, there's a new patch coming out, like, oh, that whole feeling and moment. That would not necessarily happen as much to older games or games that were primarily played offline. No, that's a modern thing, and that's just because the majority of the audience that's engaging with this stuff now is playing it like it's an online game. You know, it is directly an online game. We're at a spot now where your game needs updates, dude. I used to be in a similar boat when I was a bit more competitive, like a long time ago. Yeah, don't touch the game, bitch. Let us figure it out. Let us dissect this thing. Come on, you know? And that's the way the majority of the community reacted to patches and stuff. That is not the case anymore. Fighting games need updates. Compared to back then, how many online fighting games actually work?
Like the small patch we just got, if we got a patch like that every 2.5 to 3 months, that is just like we're going to take a slow approach to balance, but we're going to be constantly changing things. That'd be perfect.
How many fighting games could you actually go and play online that even function online well as a game? Not many. Like, it was a handful of games that actually even didn't make you want to rip your eyes out. You could get an enjoyable online experience out of. by just sheer netcode, right? What about nowadays? Nowadays, you have more options, so many options with fighting games nowadays that it can literally make your head spin. You have to get people and give people a reason to play your game. Like, that's just the nature of all
I will also say
now. And because
Street Fighter 6 is in like a Overwatch spot, low-key.
We are seeing the result of games not go through enough changes, that have not had things fixed fast
what
enough.
Is the
and
alternative?
The communities are pissed. People are like, I don't want to play this.
What are you gonna go play?
I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like, God,
what is the
poppin'
game that plays like Street Fighter?
Same Oki
City
for
of the
like
Wolves?
6 years, brother. Like,
that game's in a worse
different
spot.
Situation than we
They're
were
not getting
with older
shit.
fighting games, dude. Straight up. I think at the moment Street Fighter 6 is going through that growth. It's learning that. Yeah, we're seeing games like Marvel Rivals and Fortnite with these giant, massive updates happening constantly. They have rosters of characters in their games that are being played like 100-fold more than your average Street Fighter or any other fighting game, but they're just destroying their rosters, dude. Updating things like crazy, constantly adjusting, constantly balancing, doing this, doing that. And for some reason, like the majority of fighting games that exist now don't actually go through a lot of changes. The biggest thing you see every single year for like the big few fighting games are mostly bug fixes. And it's just like, yeah, solving the little problems. And I'm just gonna throw it out there. I personally feel the hope for Street Fighter in the future of where this shit could be going. I hope that they get to a point and they start to realize maybe we can mess around with the balance of the game a little bit more. Maybe we can take a more finger on the pulse.
Year 5, maybe.
You have to dial that in and dial it back. Some people are going to be pissed, and then they're not pissed. You have to find a good cadence of how many patches you can release a year. All that kind of stuff. Nothing is going to make everybody happy. But when you release updates of your game, what happens? When there's content updates, if there's balance updates, what happens? There's an influx of players. I'm the same way. I hear about balance changes for a game that I haven't played in a long time, and I get, ooh, yeah, I want to play that shit. My brain just works that way, dude, for everything. That's
I watch, this is actually really funny. I will watch patch notes videos for games I don't play. So like if there's a Guilty Gear patch chat, I'll put on a Guilty Gear patch notes video like I play that shit heavy. I'm like, I'm in the trenches out there, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe that they just made Souls /-2 on block. That's crazy. What's he gonna do now? Like, it's so entertaining to hear patch notes in general, and it's so exciting that I will just listen to patch notes for games I don't play.
It's one thing that I hope changes.
I don't even watch Guilty Gear
Fighter, that they can sort of look at that
Guilty Gear
cadence
patch videos
and their relationship to their audience.
I don't know why.
And how people are engaging with their game,
fun.
and understand that, like, hey, maybe we could tackle a few of these things a little bit more frequently. You know, just maybe.
Good video, Max. Good video. Good video. You know, just generic. We're sharing our thoughts type beat, but yeah. No, I mean, I think pretty like spot on. We're not really going to see big shakeups for like probably until next year. They'll start. I think whoever they have now, they got to be working on some kind of crazy patch, because 4 DLC characters a year is just not enough, especially with like the way that they space them out. It should be if you're going to do it, it should be a character every 3 months, and then a couple costumes every 3 months, and you split them up. So that way in the middle between 2 characters, you get costume packs. So you have something to come back to, right? You do the costume packs, small balance change. That's how they should be doing it, objectively. They're not objective. That's my opinion on it. You're gonna do 4 characters a year, you do 1 every 3 months, and then space it out in between, costume patch, balance changes. Boom. That'd be fun. I think it's a good cadence. It means every month and a half, there's something new to come back to, and they can be on the same exact type of wavelength they're already on, but they're not doing that. So I also think the fact that the game looks so good is a huge issue with getting costumes. We are unfortunately suffering from the success, okay? Our lobster's too buttery, our steak is too juicy, our game looks too goddamn good. It means the costumes can't be hammered out like slop. Because I'll tell you, there are games that are like, oh, the game looks good too, and they have costumes all the time. Like, yeah, but they use an art style that they can work with. And they probably also have a whole division dedicated to making costumes. It's the only way they make their money, you know? It's like the most important thing they got going on for them. But like League of Legends skins, they crank them out because League of Legends looks ugly. If you ever zoom in on a character, they look like doo-doo. The skins are like, that's offensive to League of Legends. Like, the game looks good, right? But it has an art style that allows them to crank out skins. Street Fighter 6 does not have that. That's my thoughts. Anyway, yeah, we're in for a ride. I hope you guys like the game we're playing, because that's the one we're gonna be playing for a while. Hopefully Alex is sick, and I cannot wait for Ingrid. Let's go.